welcome to Diversity Alliance Talks. In case you don't know me, I'm your host, Gabby, and I'm founder of Diversity Alliance and co-founder of the Diverse Speaker Bureau. And today I'm going to be sharing the second part of our two-part special, which is a bit of a roundup from conversations that I've had with experts and people with lived experience about diversity, equity, inclusion and accessibility within the events industry. So I've picked 4 conversations that I found really interesting with some fab guests, including Meg Straley, Daniel Brooke, Claire Derrick and also Jenny Okolol. 4 really interesting conversations, and I hope you're going to get a little bit from some of those kind of top insights that might guide us a little bit into 2024. It's a bit like having a bit of a crystal ball, in my opinion. But what am I wearing? What do I look like? So I've got a grey jumper on today because it's pretty chilly outside. I've got long dark hair, I've got brown skin, red lipstick, beige background, fairly boring, I know. But I have got my plant chaz here to kind of perk things up just a little bit. So please continue to like, share, subscribe. We appreciate those of you that do comment and watch and share their thoughts and insights too. So do keep on doing that. And I look forward to catching up with you all again in 2024. Until then, enjoy. And next up, I caught up with Claire Derrick, principal and founder of the Event Academy. If you've not heard of the Event Academy, go and check them out. Great if you're looking to get into events, enter the events industry, but also if you're already in the events industry as well. Check them out if you want to upskill, build on your build additional knowledge and qualifications. So go and check them out. Plug over. But I caught up with Claire about ageism within the events industry, and this is quite a biggie because on both ends of the scale, some people are feeling kind of misunderstood, misrepresented, whether that's the younger generation being told, you know, that they don't have the work ethic or they don't have enough experience to do certain roles, or the older generation being told, well, you don't really want to work as hard, or you don't have the work ethic, or you don't want to work, well, the work ethic, maybe not, but, you don't want to do the longer hours, the traveling. And I think these are all really dangerous assumptions to make. There are different skills, there are different insights, there are different experiences that all generations give and can bring to a role. So I think intergenerational inclusion is incredibly important. We need to remove some of those stereotypes and bias and take people on face value and what they can bring to the company culture, to the role, based on who they are as an individual. And I think also something that Claire pointed out, which I was like, yeah, of course, but we don't see this as much unless we're being really proactive about this, is that career development piece as well. Career development piece shouldn't just be about those who are kind of like moving up into middle management or moving into more leadership roles. It should be available to anybody who wants it throughout their career and not kind of saved for the younger generation. I love to continue learning. I'm always upskilling. I've had about 4 different careers. So I love education and I love learning, and I feel like it's damaging to make an assumption that people don't get to a certain age and they don't want to grow or progress or learn something new. So it was really interesting to hear the other side of the coin a little bit. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, do check out the full podcast episode and also the bite-sized clip on YouTube. There's definitely some insights there. And it was a really interesting conversation. And I respect Claire and I thank her for being so open and honest and highlighting a topic around diversity and inclusion that's always missed out in the conversation. So hope you enjoy.
And I think from my point of view, when I was very young, when I was growing up, I had friends of the family and close family members who would look at me and say, oh, you're not a looker, are you? Or, my goodness, when are you going to start developing? Or, you've got small boobs. And everything was conditioning me. I was listening to these continued messages all the time. And all I wanted to do in my early teens and mid-teens was grow up. That's what I wanted, to mature. I wanted to be somebody, because people were telling me that I hadn't quite got there yet. I didn't know where I was going to get, but I wanted to be there. So for all of my teen years, I was striving to be not my age. And I think I noticed that so much, even within the young generations now, coming up through the ranks, is that they're going so fast. They want to reach their ambitions, get onto the next stage, pass the course, get their first job, and it goes on. And then you get to a certain age where you think, I want to be younger. I don't want to be progressing through my age. Hold on. And again, society and sometimes friends and family kind of go, oh, you're getting on a bit for that. Are you sure you should be doing that? Maybe you should look younger. Maybe you should use anti-aging products. And there's this whole conversation that goes on, which now tells us that we now need to regress and we now need to be younger. So this is what I'm seeing more and more. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
That is such a great observation. You are so right. I'm exactly the same thing. Although I think I was mature as a child and young adult from the from kind of the way I behaved. But actually inside, I really tried to hold on to my childhood actually, and was always quite playful, and I didn't necessarily really want to grow up interestingly. So I was a bit different to your experience. But I 100% agree with you in that it is a lot of our conditioning, isn't it? And we talk about that a lot with diversity and inclusion, the way we have maybe unconscious bias or implicit bias or the stereotypes around different people, their backgrounds, whether that's their ethnicity, their gender, their age, and it comes from the conditioning around us, whether that's media, whether that's friends or family, whether that's what we're taught in school, how we're educated, what's on TV and in movies. So that's a really, really good point to flag, and the fact that we want to grow up and be mature and be respected and have a nice comfortable life. And we get to a certain age, you're right, and then we're like, oh God, now I want to be like back to when I was younger, looking younger. Because why are we being judged that we're past it if we get past a certain age? Are we not sharp? Do we not look as good? Why is our values being placed on those things? And is that even really true? Really, I know what I think about that, but
yeah. And my personal view is in certain societies, so not every society, but in certain societies, we are, as you get older, somebody once said to me, I feel invisible. The older I get, the more invisible I become, which was very interesting. And I had a long conversation about it with this person and really questioned why she felt like this. And she said, it's because people look at you as if you have been, not that you are. And people might look at us and go, oh, she's a little bit older, so she's not got anything to say, or she's not on trend, or she's not sort of on message. For example, she doesn't know much anymore and she's coming to the end of her career. And there's all these sort of really negative connotations that go with that, isn't there? So yeah,
I think that's why I've chosen for this campaign, actually, because there might be a bit of pushback around this, to focus on more mature people, because I do feel like there is a little bit more negative connotations around the aging process, and particularly in our society or the Western world as well. And it's not like other cultures where there's a hell of a lot of respect that comes from wisdom and having lived and what you can impart, and knowledge that you can impart to younger generation. But it seems to be in the Western world, it's youth is a thing that is celebrated. And I'm not. Well, that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining a part 2 of our DEI in events and the workplace reflections for 2023. If any of this resonated with you, then do feel free to comment, do feel free to message me, do feel free to like, subscribe, all of those things. You can catch the other episodes and the bite-sized clips on our YouTube channel, or hop on over to your favourite podcast platform and have a little listen there. And thanks again for joining.